So I dumped around $193,000 into Bitcoin and the S&P 500 during the month of October. In the next 6 months, I plan to dump another 500 grand or even more if the markets go south. So first things first, obviously, this is not financial advice, but I'm going to tell you why this isn't reckless. At least for me, it's probably one of the smartest things I could be doing, at least right now. And I know people are going to ask. I've had a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines for a while just because I was holding it to buy a couple businesses. A couple of those fell through. Deals have not been so hot lately. So after not just having much luck, I've decided to throw it all into the market while the business I still operate to this day generates net new cash flow, which is just obviously a quick plug. If you're interested in starting a freelance business and scaling to $5,000 a month, I will hand hold you to get there and show you absolutely everything from A to Z. It's obviously all online based. There's a lot of people quitting their jobs that I'm working with right now to go on this thing full time. They're at $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. I can help you do the exact same thing. So plug over. I know what you're probably thinking. Let's get into it. Market's volatile. Everything's all over the place. Bitcoin's all over the place. There's the election stuff, interest rates, whole bunch of potential trade wars. Like, why would I dump this much cash into it right now? And that's what I want to talk about today, because the answer just comes down to a few kind of small points. You can see here, I will show up. I probably already threw up some screenshots, but here's more. I bought so much during the dips. I'm at a point now in my, I don't want to call it investing career, but just my thesis around investing, that I love red days. I try to only buy on red days. I was very unsuccessful. I got a little carried away in certain days, as you can see there. I tried to buy every single day, but especially on down days. When people are fearful, this is when I'm trying to capitalize on I can use my time to my advantage. And that's my core thesis. That's my first point of anything. Time is your weapon. If you are in your 20s or at least 30s listening to this, I'm 27. That means I've got probably at least 20 to 30 years before I even need to think about using this money. And I'm probably never going to use this money. I will just loan against my own assets, use that as collateral, but 30 to 40 years minimum, right? That completely changes everything. When you have that much time, I just don't think volatility is risk at that point. It's a bit noisy. It's a bit tough. I'm still getting over the point of having to learn how to invest in red days psychologically. It's so easy to invest when things are green and on the up and up. But when it's red, it's just human nature to stop and be like, nah, dude, it's risky. I can't do it. I don't want to put this cash to work. And I know what it's like to see your position go down, but inflation is eating away at your money. And this is why I'm so big on Bitcoin. I may do a whole dedicated super long video to Bitcoin if there's enough interest in that, but I've gone down that rabbit hole and I see the thesis. And to answer your question, I'm not interested in XRP, Ethereum, Solana. The only close second that I would even think of maybe touching is Zcash, ZEC. But again, not financial advice. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. But point is, every dollar I invest today has 30 years to compound. If I wait until I'm 35 or even just 30, the next 3 years, that's multiple years of growth that I will not get back. If I wait till I'm 40, that's 12 years. My 40s are freaking only 12 years away. That is insane. You can't buy that by the time back. It's gone once it's gone. And the thing that people miss is a dollar invested now is exponentially more valuable than a dollar invested in your 40s or 50s, right? Or even to genuinely your mid to late 30s. You need to start now if you're in your early 20s. You are robbing yourself from future money, right? We're not obviously talking about linear growth here. This is why I'm big on Bitcoin too, is because there's a limited supply. So you really do only have a certain amount to get in. So when people tell me the market's too high or it's too risky, I'm like, dude, you're thinking about this thing completely wrong. You're thinking like someone in preservation mode, someone protecting a nest egg. You don't have a nest egg to protect. That's not me either, right? I'm in accumulation mode. I'm building the position, which goes into my next point. Point 2, share accumulation. That is all I give a shit about. I'm not trying to time the market. I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. I'm trying to time my life. Honestly, I don't know where we're going. I don't know. We could have a correction next month. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to drop 30% or go to freaking 150, 200K. Nobody knows. And that's the kind of the fun part about this. But more so, that's why I'm not trying to play that game. What I do know is that what I want to own as many shares of assets as possible while I'm young, while I'm still in this accumulation phase. And when markets are volatile or pulling back, that's what works in my favor, right? Because I can get a built-in discount. So again, the S&P or this new ticker that I'm investing in, which is a similar version of the Qs, which is called TEC. It's a kind of close Canadian equivalent, or QQQC if you really wanted to have a cross reference. This is discounted, right? If Bitcoin pulls back to 50K or 45K, that's more sats per dollar, right? In 20 years, I'm not going to remember when I bought the S&P at 5,800 points or 5,300 points, but I'm definitely going to remember whether I bought it all. And I'm at a point in my portfolio. I don't talk about how much full Bitcoin I own. I don't talk about my maybe in-depth portfolio. Maybe I will in the future, but right now it's getting to a point where compounding is really seriously starting to work in my favor. It's kind of crazy. When I dumped all that money into the market early this year, when things were dipping, and end of last year, I put 125 in last year towards the end of it. And dude, it's insane what it's worked up to, right? But the difference between buying and not buying is everything when you're young. So my strategy is simple. Get the money deployed, get the capital deployed. Every single dollar is like a little soldier. That's how you have to think of this thing. So accumulate as many of those as you can, get that money working for you, and let the time do the heavy lifting. Don't try to time this thing. Don't try to trade your way to success. It's, again, such a backwards. So many traders don't beat the market. So that's another topic, but that's the risk of being safe, right? And that's what's wild to me. People think be conservative in your 20s is safe, or if I'm being honest, even dividends, dude. Stay away from dividends. It's not. It's the riskiest thing you could do. Sitting on cash guarantees loss to inflation, or dividends guarantees tax drag and not actually focusing on growth. And that's certain loss. That's not maybe. That is your guaranteed. I'm watching my purchasing power decline in real time with how much cash I have on the sidelines, right? Investing in assets is theoretical risk that historically, over long enough time horizons, has usually always worked out, right? It may be different situations for some people depending on when they get in. Yes, 6 months can make a huge difference. If you invested right before the '08 crash and right after the correction, like, I get that. But again, give yourself time, and I have something going for me that older investors don't. That's human capital. My future earning power is worth millions of dollars. I'm early in my career. If the market crashes freaking 40% next year, I can recover because I have decades of income ahead of me. I can keep buying. I can keep building. Someone who's 40, 50, 60 just doesn't have that luxury. They just don't. They need to be conservative because they don't have time to recover. So again, conservative investing in your 20s isn't safe, dude. It's just stupid slow. Now, why Bitcoin, why S&P, and why TEC are very tech-heavy focused funds? Those are the only three holdings right now. The reason I'm doing it, obviously S&P, exposure to the 500 most profitable companies, in my opinion, on the planet, but more specifically in the USA. We're talking about businesses like, again, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla. These aren't speculative anymore. These are the companies that are driving the global economy, that the AI, even if it is a bubble, it's going to change everything. It already freaking is, dude. The amount of companies that are doing mass layoffs right now is absurd. And Bitcoin is different too. It is the ultimate, in my opinion, growth asset with crazy upside. If digital assets continue gaining the institutional, the government adoption, if you will, if Bitcoin becomes even a fraction of what people think it could be, the returns are stupid. I am happy with an 18 to 22, 23%, but there are some buddies that are talking, dude, this thing's going to do minimum 30. This is going to do minimum 40. That'd be great, but I'm not hoping on that at all. I'm actually the opposite. If I can just get a solid 18 to 20%, 15%, I'm happy, right? It's uncorrelated to traditional markets, which gives me exposure to a completely different set of outcomes. I'm willing to take that risk. If I'm not betting on one future, I'm positioning myself for multiple winning scenarios. If traditional markets run, I win. If digital assets take off, I win. And if both happen, which is, I think, likely over a long enough time horizon, I really fucking win. And that's what I'm excited about. This isn't about picking a side. It's just being on the right one that actually unfolds, and you could be in both, right? So what is my, I don't know, I want to have $1 million invested, a full $1 million working for me, because right now I don't, in the next 6 months. My liquid net worth is right under 1.2 million, and I want to get at least $1 million working for me, keep 100 grand in cash, for the business, for personal stuff, God forbid my emergency fund, all that kind of stuff. I want to have that, but I want to have another X amount deployed. It's aggressive, but the thing is, I love DCA. I love dollar cost averaging because it is comfortable, because I could take advantage of dips, because I don't have to, worry about that. But on the flip side, lump summing is nice too, because lump summing historically, I think 2/3 of the time does perform better, because markets trend up. The longer you wait to deploy capital, the more likely you are to miss gains. So I'm kind of front loading. I'm getting capital in the market as quickly as I can now, while still being smart about allocation. I'm being aggressive with deployment, but diversified with what I'm buying. And 6 months gives me enough time to really be thoughtful about it without dumping too much in and going really, really crazy. But also, I'm not dragging it out over the next 3 years. So I'm giving myself 6 months. Summer of worst case 2026 is like my cutoff, and that's where I'm at. So I know this is kind of a quicker one, but I really think if you're listening to this and you're getting to this point, I tweeted about this. I would stay away from real estate right now. I would focus on liquid assets, but build yourself first. Invest in you first. Don't worry about freaking the next meme coin, the next shit coin, even traditional assets. You are the best asset this world has in your own world, in your own life, right? So focus on building up your skill set, bring value to people. I've gone down the Bitcoin rabbit hole of people focusing on generating cash flow, putting that cash flow to work through Bitcoin. You don't even have to reinvest in your business. And I think you are in a very, very good position if you do this for the next 5 to 10 years properly. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to keep you guys posted. I will genuinely keep you guys posted on my portfolio, how things go over time. And I want you, please, if you do anything from this video, learn about money, learn to make money, bring value to the world so you can get filthy rich. And if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Let me know what you're investing into in today's day and age. And we will see you on the next side. As always, if you made it this far, I want to see you win. Crush your day, crush your weekend. We'll see you in the next one.